never envisioned that I would go to college,
Okay.
but then it called me and I was like,
Hmm.
I gotta go. And so I started applying and I got in and I came back to Utah. And
Wow.
it's just a succession of those things of I hear that call.
Hmm.
I'm not going to silence that. I'm going to listen and I will walk that journey. And that's how I live my life. And I really do wonder about a lot of people if they are hearing it
Hmm.
and if they are silencing their own journey. And I would encourage everybody to not dismiss that drumbeat when you hear that. I want to be whatever it is, fill in the blank.
Hmm.
That's who I want to be. That's how I want to live my life. That's what I feel like my next step is. Take it. Why are you holding yourself back this time?
More people look for others to inspire them. And just based upon what you said, this is just me, senior citizen speaking, it may be that drum beat that they may need to listen to instead of looking for, per se, a lot of direction outside of themselves.
Yeah, there's so much inside of your soul. And you really can get the motivation from a lot of self-help books and motivational speakers. And
Hmm.
there's a lot out there that you really can and be, listen to and be like, yes, I agree
Yeah,
with that. And I
correct.
feel that. And that motivates me. But it motivates me to do that thing that my own soul is calling me to do.
Hmm.
That's in here. You
Because
might,
anybody can, someone other than ourselves can strike a match. I'm stealing that from what my dad used to say. Anybody can strike a match, boy. But what you got to burn? What you got to burn? You have to have something right to catch on fire. Um, but someone else, self-help book or motivational speaker, can do the same. I like the fact that you're willing to take the rein. Moments have come where taking the reins, you may have hesitated, maybe.
oh, are you asking me if that happened?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, I hesitate talking about this because it's kind of personal, but my marriage was a place of, um, it was volatile and
Hmm.
it was emotionally and mentally abusive place.
Hmm.
And it was not working from day one. And there were a lot of times when I was like, I want to leave. I don't want to be here anymore.
Hmm.
And I kept trying to do what I thought was the right thing to hold on and, you know, but I just kept waiting for that next thing that would show how bad it really was. I was waiting for somebody else to see it, to acknowledge what was happening to me
Hmm.
so that I could probably, I guess, blame shift to be like, oh,
Oh, okay. I see
see,
what you're saying.
you know, if somebody else sees, if somebody else acknowledges, if somebody else steps in and takes this from me, then I don't have to decide,
Hmm.
you know. And I held on. I was married for 15 years, and all of it, it was either kind of um, meh or really awful. Like we just couldn't get on the same page about anything.
Hmm.
And so, and to me, that was a big reason for my depression for 15 years is because I couldn't figure out why is this so hard? Like, I don't understand when you love somebody, when you're,
Hmm.
trying to build a life together.
Right.
Why can't we build this? Why is it not working?
Hmm.
And I kept trying to do that. I guess I kept trying to take control of it by um, trying everything I could think of to build something rather than do what I kept hearing. And that was, this isn't working. This is not where you should be. And it's holding back you from being who you are or who you're supposed to be.
Were did you find yourself? I'm asking this for those who will watch this back or listen to it, and they're beginning their journey of thinking the way you're talking right now that you went through. They're looking at their situation. They're looking at circumstances. Did you find yourself kind of emotionally flip flopping like a fish out of water, trying to find some way to gasp for air? Did it seem like you were trying to emotionally find some way to be safe and stable as you were trying to deal with a narcissistic situation?
For sure. And I think the way that I did that was I put a smile on, you
Oh,
know.
I've heard that
I
before. Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, I've heard.
I tried to, nobody knew what was going on. My family
Wow.
didn't know, his family didn't know, my friends didn't know, the people in my church didn't know, my close friends didn't know.
Wow.
And that was the way I dealt with it. I would just put on a brave face
Hmm.
and then cry myself to sleep at night. So
You chose to go that direction,
to put a
to
brave
not
face on,
yeah, the brave face, right.
I did choose that, but that's because I didn't feel like, and that's really interesting about being in a narcissistic relationship.
Mm.
You are very isolated and they get you to believe
Absolutely.
that nobody's going to believe you, that you're crazy,
Hmm.
and they're
Yeah.
very good at putting on this show of amazingness and show of awesomeness, and they're very good about getting everybody to believe this lie that they're wonderfully amazing people. And so to combat that was an insurmountable mountain to get somebody to believe
Hmm.
what's going on, that so I just chose not to fight it. I
You
chose
have
to play a
go ahead.
part in play a part in the story, play a part of the lie that everything was roses.
While you were playing that part, you were. I'm just asking, were you losing yourself? Because on the screen, someone's agreeing that they went through the same thing. Did you
Yeah,
find yourself losing yourself in your self esteem and in your sense of direction?
absolutely. Especially towards the end after I had been down that road for well over a decade when
Right.
things were really getting close to my decision to leave. I felt like my soul was dying. And there were times when my husband told me, I thought you would never smile again.
Hmm.
And he thought, he fully believed I was suicidal. I was not, ever.
Hmm.
Um, but I was depressed and I started to feel a lot of anxiety,
Hmm.
just experience, you know, I'm going to be in this forever. And um, anytime something happens, I'm not going to be able to figure out how to get out of it or to handle it or to at least get him to see how hurtful he's being, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
The hurtfulness and what you endured during that time frame is is nothing that holds a grip on you to the point, well, you haven't lost your can do attitude.
right.
Would you say that you regained it? Will you say that maybe you sustained it during that time frame? Or is it a situation in which you've just shed all the dead weight and now you're back to moving in the right direction?
I would say I always had it. I always
Mm-hmm.
had it with me. And I was very conscious of my choice to continue in the marriage. I was very conscious of, some of the things that were cancerous and destructive, and conscious of staying in it and doing the things that I was doing inside of the marriage. Um, but I will tell you, to be free from the abusive situation that it was, and um, there's a lot about narcissism that is just very, they have to be this identity, right? It's
Yeah.
very stagnant, it's very the
Yeah.
same.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of constraints around how you should act and how you can be and how you can move and how you can't grow. So shedding that,
Mm.
it's so much easier to be a can-do attitude, and it's so much easier to apply all of the things that I am. So yeah, there is a lot of that shedding to just be able to push through and just grow in my own pace and just
Yeah,
and feel
yeah.
that not being held back.
You made me just think of something I like how you just mentioned with these conditions in a relationship that's abusive that way, similar to what are we looking at here? Does that say stone? Uh,
Stone Eagle Man?
yeah. Say that again. Stone what?
Stone Eagle Man?
Stone Eagle Man says that that is exactly what I went through with my first marriage. What you're describing right now, Melanie. But would it be safe to say you just mentioned the fact that these conditions, these constraints within an abusive relationship means that the person can't grow, the victim, as it were, of the abuse can't grow. Do you, so you felt yourself not growing, essentially, maybe even dying when it comes to your own creativity? I'm just asking. Maybe somebody can relate to that. I don't know.
I think you can grow. It's
Okay,
just slower and it's harder to believe in yourself
got it.
because
Okay.
there's that constant like you can't and you shouldn't and here's the
Hmm.
constraint and here's the reason why not to.
Hmm.
Um, but you know, for example, and this is the family name coming through again, but
Okay.
I could sense I could sense my decision to leave looming years before I exited. And it was at a time when our family was growing and we had a very small kitchen table and I we needed a table. We needed a bigger one.
Hmm.
Everybody was like knocking knees and kicking each other and fighting and I was
Right.
like, we need more space. And I was married to somebody who had a lot of tool skill and tool knowledge and I was like, we can't afford to go down and just buy one. Why can't we just make one? That's how I think, right? Let's
Of
just
course. Of
I
course. That's natural. Yeah. That was good.
And so, as the man and the person who had the tools and the skill and the knowledge, I was like, can you just whip one out, please? Because I grew up.
I wish I was a fly on the wall when you had that discussion. That turned into no doubt an argument. I'm just,
It did. It did.
I can only
And,
imagine.
and I waited and I waited and it
Wait, how long did you wait? I just have to ask.
a
How?
year.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, man. My mother would have had a talk with you. My mother would have told my dad like 2 seconds after she thought of it. Let me tell you, you're going to make a table and you're going to do it. You're going to do it right now. I give you credit. A year. You bit your tongue.
Well, I didn't bite my tongue, but I
Well,
just was patient with the fact that he wasn't having. He wouldn't do anything if I asked him to.
he wouldn't be receptive to anything that you thought of,
No.
especially if it was a good idea, because that's all you were pumping out was good ideas. So
Oh, I'm full of good ideas.
yeah.
He was not
wait,
having
wait,
any of the good
wait.
ideas.
You're full of good ideas and you're humble. And you're very humble. Okay, so you threw that idea. Yeah, that wasn't gonna work. So when it
Maybe I need
comes
to work on that a little bit.
no, that's your can do attitude coming through.
Yes.
So
Okay. So
you
after a year,
yeah.
um, I realized, there's a really strong possibility that I am not going to stay in this marriage.
I like the way you approach that thought. There's a pretty good chance this is not going to work out well.
This is not going
Okay.
to work out for
So,
me.
okay. Yeah,
So
of
I was
course.
like, I'm making this table.
No, you
I'm
didn't.
doing
Did you
it. I
really?
did. I did. And so
I am so
I
proud of
marched
you.
myself down to the Home Depot and I bought myself, well, I downloaded a PDF off of a DIY website that it's just like I can sew, like I can follow directions. It's just different tools, it's just different machinery. I know how to cut and measure and, sew together, in this case, glue and screw.
Glue, right? There you
Glue
go.
and screw.
There
It's
you go.
not that hard. It's a little scary because, the things can chop digits off if you're not careful.
This is true, right?
So I asked my uncle who had a wood shop if he wouldn't mind tutoring me, and he willingly obliged. And I insisted the entire time that he was there to to
Right,
assist me,
right.
but I was to build this table.
Okay.
And I did it. It took me, I don't know, a few Saturdays, and it was in the middle of winter, and we just whipped out a table.
You are a modern day carpenter. Not from
So,
not from Nazareth, but you're a modern day carpenter. So I give you a lot of credit. Go ahead. You were saying,
so to answer your question, yes, you can absolutely blossom inside of an abusive relationship, whatever that is. You just have to um, hear who you are and not allow the naysayers, whether they live in your own household or outside of it,
Mhm.
to dictate who you are and who you are to become. And I think
you,
that's so important because there are people that will watch this or listen in
mhm.
that maybe will be deciding whether or not they're staying in their narcissistic relationship or not because it serves them in some way, right? There's reasons why you stay. And so if you're
Right.
going to stay or if you're going to leave, you need to find um, that method. In some cases, of survival, but you need to find the method of survival and also figure out a way to thrive,
You,
whether or not
so
you.
so with your coaching, would it be safe to say that you can assist individuals to think strategically and with an intervention mindset so that they can survive and thrive?
Yes. Hmm.
Now that was probably the most humble thing I heard you say all day. Um, so I appreciate the fact that you're very encouraging. You've taught a lot of people, no doubt, how to take the reins, but when it comes to being responsible, uh, when it comes to waking up in the morning and moving forward and to keep going, a person needs to not hand over responsibility of their life to other people, no doubt.
Hmm.
How can a person who may have come from the foster home system, an abusive relationship, children of divorce, whatever it may be, they may feel that they had a rough start, childhood trauma, whatever it comes into play. How can they strategically, from your coaching, learn to become or maintain the ability to be responsible for their life?
So that comes in, that day to day training, that those neural pathways. You have to make the conscious effort to say, to hear that blame shifting that you do and say, well, I was raised this way, or it was always this way. This is the way my mom taught me, or
Mhm.
it's because of this. Whatever it is your background is, it doesn't matter. What matters is who are you inside? Who do you want to become? And you have to listen to that and take responsibility. You have to be responsible for healing your traumas, but also moving yourself forward to be the person that you want to be. And you
Now,
have to
moving,
be responsible for the pace that you take. And every moment that you say, you know, when you hear yourself starting to blame or to fall back into old patterns, you have to be
mhm,
able to catch yourself and take responsibility for it. I can sit here and I can coach people and I can do all the brainstorming and ask all the poignant questions, but I'm not going to be there in those moments when you have to take responsibility for your movement. Which direction are you going to go? What path are you going to take? I can, you can sit here and pay me to be your
mhm.
intervention coach
Right.
for years and years, but you're the one that has to be responsible for your own change. You have to be the one that implements it.
So I'm going to turn to a couple of postings here. You have a posting that says, if you never try, you'll never really know. This was dated September 20th, 2020. In the comment, you wrote this: you might be surprised to find out how many overnight successes came after years and years of effort. Two words you wrote after that. You said, keep going. Why is this post beneficial for those who feel that they have failed before?
Well, I think it's really important because people that are successful, they fail many, many times. They fail, like, think of a salesman. How many times did they knock on a door and get that no before they got a yes? Or a person that's training or trying to lose weight or to build muscle mass or whatever. How many times did they have to restart their program because they
Mm-hmm.
failed on the weekend? And so it's so important to keep going with your plan. The consistency over time is so important to keep moving. Like when we were talking in the beginning, I can't remember if it was this session or I think it was the first session we did. Just start, right? So just
Yeah.
start your journey.
Mm-hmm.
But if you stop, just start again. Keep
Mm-hmm.
going. So don't let a failure or a stop or a loss of momentum even keep you from regaining momentum or restarting and keep driving that goal forward. Because I think a lot of people feel that because you failed, because you lost momentum, because you don't feel like it today, and then you just kind of let that settle in. Some people think that that's the end, that that means something. Don't let it mean something.
Yeah, I have to do this. You're saying is absolutely excellent, but somebody's saying something to both of us, but mainly to you. Shay, I'll see you later, Shay. She says, thank you. Melanie and Paxton saying bye now. It's after 1 a.m. in South Africa or South America. I don't see what flag that is. I can't see the flag. My screen's not big enough.
It might be
Uh,
Africa.
yeah, I think it's South Africa. Okay, Shay, we will see you later. Thank you for all your support and sharing and watching the channel and supporting my guest. And thank you for the hearts. She gave you a bunch of hearts that were on the screen as well, a moment while you were talking. Um, okay, I'm going to say this to you. I cannot believe we have already talked 30 minutes that quick. It felt like it was just 10 minutes. And I looked up at the clock and it's like, where did 30 minutes go that fast? And like you just started talking. I was just listening to you. Okay, I have to do this one. And I love your page. Your page confirms what I often have said, of course, to myself. What does that say? Oh, I thought she wrote something else. Um, some of the most amazing and intriguing and insightful people have less than 1,000 followers.
Hmm.
I have truly found that by interviewing so many different people. Not everybody that has more than that that's been on my show is gonna go like they're gonna write me and go like, what is that supposed to mean?
Hey,
So
now.
they're gonna get hate mail all of a sudden. I don't get hate mail, but now I probably will. I don't even get trolls. I'm not that interesting for them to troll me. But what I was gonna say is I find you fascinating to listen to and to talk to because the way you approach your perspective and the way you approach your mindset is something that is encouraging for my audience because both of my platforms are audience driven. I don't come up with the content. I just read what's on your page and you talk. It's a really easy thing. You probably didn't think that when we before we ever had the show prep. You're thinking, well, what does he want from me? What are we going to talk about? You and what you post is real. It's really easy. you're, you're a genius, So it's like, but this one, I like this one. You say, as social distancing is the new norm, be mindful to create connections with others. Now that's the post. Then you said this, you need to write a book. It says you need to make an ebook or something. I don't know, 175, 205 pages. It says in a recent study and publication by Nature Neuroscience, you went on to highlight this. Rats who were trained in addiction to uh, uh, methamphetamines chose social interaction over the drug when given the option. You also write this. It was also interesting to me to note that forced abstinence had higher rates of craving and relapse than if the rats were able to choose for themselves between the drug and social reward. It suggests the need to consider socialization as a strong factor in brain health. Why was it important for you to highlight this information for social media?
Well, that was during the pandemic when everybody was quarantined and social distancing and trying to stay 6 feet apart from everybody, and we lost a lot of connection. Sorry. One second. We lost a lot of connection from friends in that person to person contact, and we saw a lot of I think tension in families. We saw a lot of tension in friends, and an increase in traumas and problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to have positive social interaction is so key. And I think this is one of the reasons why. So I don't know if you know this about me, but I am trained through Tony Robbins' course with
Okay.
Chloe Madonis, and so I'm a board certified coach through his program. And one of the things that he
No,
talks
no,
about.
I didn't. I didn't know that. I only knew that you like hanging upside down. But go ahead. And superhero quotes. But go ahead.
Yes, it's so true. Everybody should hang upside down. Pause for the day.
Okay. All right. I just see an 80-year-old person doing that. But go ahead.
Ooh, I'm going to do that. I got life
Oh,
goals.
yeah, like wait,
Check
you
back
had.
in when I'm 80.
Oh my goodness. Hey, wait a minute. That's a long time from now. But go ahead. Go ahead. You were saying.
Oh, where did I go? I lost my
I don't
train
know.
of
Your brain is 80 because you just lost your train of thought. You're too
thought.
young. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's a huge squirrel moment. That's a few squirrels, and you just squirrel. All right. So you were just
Okay, so
discussing.
Tony Robbins.
Yes,
Okay.
you forgot your coaching there. You totally forgot his name. Okay, go ahead.
So Tony Robbins talks about the 6 human needs. And one of the top human needs for people is love and connection. It's a need for all human beings. And if that's sore, then you're not going to function quite as well. And you can do things like self-love and care, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
But we all need to be around and connect with other people. Even
Hmm.
people who are introverts need a small amount of connecting with other people. And so that was poignant at the time because of social distancing and because of the mandates that were put on everybody.
Hmm.
It was time to be mindful about that, to be mindful to say, hey, okay, I am going to social distance. I'm going to do whatever I need to for the mandates.
Hmm.
But I also need to take care of my mental and emotional health by finding ways to connect with other people.
So your words show that even with methamphetamines, we will choose. Not that we're all rats. We will choose social connectivity over medication as a whole. But you also said this. This is the last paragraph or a statement that you made there. It says humans are social creatures, and we need to be mindful, maybe even creative, in making connections with other people, especially when social distancing is the new norm. We need to be creative. We need to be mindful. We need to maybe even be creative. What pops in your mind when it comes to being creative and connecting with others? Is it this show? You and I connected?
No,
I'm
let's
just
do
made,
more
I
of
just made that.
this.
I just,
I'm
hey,
gonna
be
make
careful.
new friends across the country.
Be careful what you said, because believe me, with my audience, you will be making friends. They will be on your page. Hey, how you doing? All right. So, they're very
Y'all
interactive.
y'all can come message me. That's fine.
But when it comes to creativity, being mindful, how could we step outside of the comfort zone and out of a box to be that when we're looking to make sure we at least touch or come in contact with another human being emotionally and in their life?
I think there's a little bit of a bravery for some people to just say hi, to
Okay.
smile at somebody
Yeah.
else. To the
Right.
stranger in the grocery store. I mean, we were masked, but we're not anymore. But to look people in the eye
Yeah.
consciously
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, how are you? How you doing?
I'm
Can I
sorry.
get
Do
you
that again.
anything?
That was really Canadian when you did that. Do that again. Was
Hey,
it?
how are
Was
you?"
it? I don't think that was Utahian. Not that's a word, but
Oh my word!
it didn't sound like you came
There
from
was a
Utah.
time in my life when I watched way too much CMT, and I think the accent
I
gets in
can't
there
believe you just
sometimes.
said that. My daughters might not like you after this show. No, God, you way too much CMT. Why would you say that? Because you had a drawl when you talk.
What? Yes, when so my hometown, my hick hometown, I definitely have a drawl from that era of my life.
Okay. All right.
But I think from the CMT era, I think it kind of, I don't know, it strung something together for me. So when I get a little sassy,
Obviously, it comes out.
it comes out
It starts
sometimes.
to come out.
Where are you from?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
You just get like confused. It's in your subconscious. It just starts to come out. And you go like, I was just talking to somebody different. She just became a different person. Medic. Then
Are
we
you
like,
from the South? I don't know.
it's, Southern Utah. I'm from Southern Utah. It's like, explain that to me. What do you mean Southern Utah? Yeah, it's a really, really big state like Texas. So, curious to ask, now that you mentioned CMT, what what did you enjoy music wise when you were in your younger days when it came to CMT?
When it came to CMT,
Yeah, because
I
I'm
don't
not
know,
gonna. Well,
probably.
we could always move to MTV and others VH1, but at this moment, CMT. You brought up CMT. Name one or two people that you just enjoyed dancing to and cleaning the kitchen and taking out
Uh,
the trash.
no, from the CMT era was probably Tim McGraw, Faith Hill back in the day.
Very good choice. Very good choice. Anytime you say Tim McGraw on my channel, that's a good choice. Am I still there? Hello, testing one, two, three.
Sorry, this call was coming in. I had to dismiss it.
Oh, was it Tim McGraw or Faith Faith Hill? They're both
It was
calling you.
a, it was a spam. We should have
It was
answered it.
yes, you. Oh, that would have been good production value. Yeah, you should have answered it. You're like, who's calling my
Hello?
daughter? Who's
Are
calling
you
my
here
daughter?
to tell me the vacuum? I'm here to buy it now.
I just got one the other day. All right, so I'm going to ask you this. Here we go. This is this has been very very uh, good to spend time with you doing this. I am looking forward to having you on again. I have so much more to ask you, but I'm not going to torture you by keeping this keep torturing you right now. But I do have these questions to ask you. Are you ready? You have. She has no idea. Everybody. Now, all of you who are loyal to the program and what we do on both of these programs, Dark Abuse TV, as well as Open Session Podcast, you know that at any moment I will ask someone something and they have no idea what I'm going to ask them. And it doesn't look like full fear on Melanie's face, but she is wondering, what is he going to do? Well, since you take the reins so easily, no matter what the situation, I'm quite sure you'll do the same right now. So here we go. I want to know, the woman that you are now is because of one of the three or all of the above that I'm about to mention to you. The woman that you are right now that I find truly special to listen to and talk to, and amazing time release sense of humor. So I'm going to now ask you this. The person you are right now, the woman you have come to be right now, as we do this show together, is because of one of the three things I'm about to mention or all of the above. One, your background, or in other words, your upbringing. Two, your perseverance. Three, your sense of humor. Which one of those was a driving force to get you to this point? That to say, you said yes to do the show, to get you to this point, to this show that you're on right now. Which one of those three?
Probably the first two, I would
The first,
say.
okay, the first two.
Mhm.
Your upbringing and your perseverance. If someone, this is the second question, if someone met you today, what would they notice first about you? Your upbringing, your perseverance, or your sense of humor, or all the above? Huh?
Probably my sense of humor. My
Your,
just peachy. That's what they would
okay,
notice first.
your peachy sense of humor. Okay, last question. If you had to say a decade from now, from this moment in time, what would you remember the most looking back on your life? Would you fondly look back and remember more your upbringing, your perseverance through depression and other aspects of life? Or would you remember some of the funny times in which your sense of humor or that of others caused you to smile?
I think I would remember most the perseverance, just being able to continue forward. Whatever comes your way, just to kind of keep plotting the path, keep
Yeah.
moving forward.
Just to keep going, right? Just to keep
Mhm.
going. It is often a theme on your page. I'm looking at just talking with you over these three cards. You mentioned your upbringing and your perseverance. You mentioned that others would see your personality, or in other words, your sense of humor. And then you mentioned your perseverance is what you would reflect on, even if we went a decade out from now. I say this to you. I have had the pleasure of seeing each one of those in front of me in two segments. That means you are a true pleasure to not only be around, but you make the planet better because of who you are and your upbringing, but it's your perseverance that got you through this show and up to this point in time, up to this point in time that got you through this show because
And
you
the
trust
humor.
and the humor. You trusted me and I appreciate that. You said yes. You were the girl that said yes, along with all my guests up to this point that said yes, they would join me. And you are a true treasure. I hope everyone, if you're looking for a coach, like, comment, share, follow Melanie because she's very strategic in her intervention and she will always treat you as a goddess, even if you're a guy. No, I'm just kidding. She will always treat you as a goddess. And because indeed, I'm going to let you describe to everyone why is it that you call your page strategic intervention goddess? Why the goddess part? I know you've already told me, but go ahead and say it.
So the goddess really speaks to my spiritual side and being able to tune into that. And I guess here, I think what God wants me to say to somebody who's
Mhm.
sitting in front of me, and so that I can inspire them in the way that is tailored for them and their soul at that moment. And so when I'm working with somebody, I'm really looking at their highest self, their divine self, who they're meant to be. What is their purpose here on this earth? That's who I want to speak to when I'm helping somebody, is that I'm trying to guide them from whatever place that they're in to an even brighter place, to a place that brings them closer and closer to their divine potential. That's what being goddess is for me.
You have you have proved to be more than what anybody would ever imagine if they spend time with you. because to unwrap you and to spend time with you means that you start to show people how they can navigate through their challenging times, have perseverance like you do. But the other thing that I picked up about you is you really like to hang upside down and you like superhero quotes. I said
Yes,
that
I
before. I find
do.
that fascinating because that's like stuck in your page there. Like people can miss that with all the other great quotes that you have. Okay, superhero quote time. Before we go, who has some really cool superhero quotes that you like? Not that you're going to remember them right now. Well, what, I know you got one on your page that I saw, but superhero quotes, what's up with that? You like that? Name some.
I love the superhero archetype. I just love that being able to I love in the superhero movies, I'm thinking like Man of Steel. That's on my page, but also
Yes.
like Wonder Woman. And I know these are fictional things, but
Was that a wait, was that a disclaimer? It was like, okay, I was just coaching a moment ago. It's like now you're going like, okay, go ahead.
I understand. But there's something so beautiful in that human struggle. And the moment when the hero overcomes and becomes the person that they were meant to be in the story. And I
Okay.
think everybody can have those moments in their life when they sense that struggle, that terrible upbringing, that background, and maybe being raised in foster care or a narcissistic abusive relationship, that
Mhm.
terrible struggle, that story. And
Right.
that moment when you have that breakthrough and you start to become the hero of your own story, I just love it. I love it so much, and I think everybody can apply it.
Way to go. Way to go. I'm glad you didn't say it was the cape or the uniform, that you understand the struggle. Look at you smiling. Okay, so when it comes to this show, we did the best we could to unwrap you in front of everyone so they can get to know you better. I need everyone to take this very serious. Like, comment, share, follow Melanie's page and show her some love and support. The Open Session podcast is a format in which we showcase coaches and a number of other people. You get to end the week for me here, in which I've had other coaches on. All of you have been truly fantastic, except whoever lands on Friday is the one that I torture the most. I have decided to be on my best behavior and not totally be a joke the whole time with you. But I am going to end the show this way. I have a joke. What joke do you know that you can tell on this family program right now? Do you have one?
Um,
Do you have one? Come on, you've been around tons of.
Family program.
Do you have a joke that you could tell on the family?
Shoot, I'm coming up with blanks.
Oh, that's messed up.
I
I hope that's not the
but
joke.
I am not sure because my dad told it to me.
Okay, that's okay. Then we won't. I was gonna do. Okay, so I'll do mine. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Dwayne.
Dwayne who?
Dwayne the bathtub because I'm drowning.
Yeah.
You heard the joke. Okay, all right. All right, that's it. The show's over with. That's it. I'm interested in your dad's joke, but I don't know. My ears might explode because I have very sensitive ears. But I'm glad you and your father are close enough to tell jokes, and he can do screen printing for your merchandise for hashtag Take the Reins t-shirts. I'm out. I love each and every one of you. Thank you, everyone, for supporting my guest, Melanie. Last words of advice to everybody. Your last moment to say a few words to social media. You got people still joining as I'm about to go. That happened last time. But go ahead. Any last words of encouragement?
Just have courage to be your best self.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you so much, my friend. Enjoy yourself. And thank you for the CMT reference and Tim McGraw. All right, everybody, take care. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.